Hello and welcome to the Talladega race review. This was an interesting Talladega race. It was not your classic Talladega race. It was not a just wreck fest. It was pretty much green the entire race. In the first stage, Harrison Burton kind of came up, got really squirrely. Recky Stenhouse Jr. kind of didn't help matters, kind of wrecked him. It only really took out, it was a big pileup, included only one playoff driver, and Joey Logano, which, fun fact, he complains about this type of racing. But at the end of the day, it did not take out any other championship contenders, and Logano's car was badly damaged. The only cars that were taken out in this wreck was Harrison Burton and Ty Gibbs, which Harrison Burton shouldn't be racing in this series to begin with, and Ty Gibbs is, just out here getting experience, so it didn't change much, in my opinion. I don't think either of those two guys were going to be competing for the win at the end of the race, and to be completely honest, the faster Harrison Burton wrecks out on one of these races, the better for everybody else. He just can't take it controlling, he went up, he made the move, and he got wrecked. And I think this is Harrison Burton. The 21 car is doomed to rot as long as he's driving it. But outside of that, it was a really clean race. It was great racing. It made a super speedway race not all about wrecking each other. You didn't have to wreck somebody to win stage one, win stage two, win the race, which is insane. Something that is unthought of right now. The last Daytona race, we had 4 cars finishing the race in one piece. It was kind of a breath of fresh air to just watch these guys who are some of the best drivers in the world, just race these tracks perfectly. And it was amazing, Stage 1 went to Blaney. Stage 2, there was another incident. I think it was in stage 1, it might have been in stage 2, somewhere in that frame rate. Corey Lejoy looked like he blew a tire, hit the wall, took him out of the race. Unfortunate for him, because I think he could have been a guy playing at the end of the race. He was only one of 3 cars to DNF. Those 3 cars were the only 3 cars not to finish this race. There was cars who didn't finish on the lead lap, obviously, like the Rick Wares, the Live Fast, and Justin Allgaier, and then later on, there was a couple speeding penalties which got people down lap, but we'll get to that. So outside of that, it was pretty clean. Green flag pit stops are always entertaining to watch, especially at these super speedways, as you watch manufacturers and everything go down. But what made this one even more interesting is that Christopher Bell spun out and got a speeding penalty. I was insane. The dude spun through pit road. You're giving him a speeding penalty. I'm like, damn, how fast was he going when he spun out? Obviously, he had to spin out trying to get down to speed, losing control. Went around. He just barely didn't hit the wall. No caution was thrown. Because of the speeding penalty, he went a lap down. Screwed him. Him and William Byron did not collect any stage points, which is insane. I believe they were the only 2 playoff drivers to not get any. I don't know if Chase Briscoe. I don't think Chase Briscoe did either, but they were 2 guys I think needed it. Byron, obviously, with his 25-point penalty, is going to cost him in the end of the day. And Bell was in a deep hole. It's just gotten worse. He's going to have to win the Roval. Him and Bowman, they're basically out. Bowman, if he can even race next week with his concussion issues, they're both a must-wins, to be completely honest. It's unfortunate, they both had really great first rounds. Bell's just had 2 bad races. I think it could have been worse. He could have wrecked out of this race and been in an even deeper hole. I think he's minus 33 right now. And Bowman's minus 54. So they're both a must win. So it doesn't matter at this point what either of them do. We'll get to the rest of the points here in a minute. But the second stage was won by Elliott. Yeah, Chase Elliott won second stage with a great pass on his teammate Kyle Larson. Which, speaking of great passes, Blaney winning first stage about like a foot over Denny Hamlin was crazy. But then the third stage starts. It became kind of a track position race. You don't normally hear that with super speedways, or you think, oh, you can go from 30th to first in 20 minutes. But in this case, the guys who were out front most of the race was out front during the final few laps. And at the end of the day, it came down to those guys. Blaney, who led a ton. I don't know how many laps he led, but he led a good chunk. Especially in that last stage, he led a bunch. Chase Elliott, who won stage 2, was coming up there. You had Denny Hamlin up there. Ross Chastain. Michael McDowell. You had guys like Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski up there, but they both came into the cardinal sin by speeding on green flag pit stop. So they both finished a lap down. They were a non-factor at the end of the day, but they were up in the mix when the Fords made their pit stops. It's a shame. I mean, you gotta do better. You cannot speed in that situation. It just it's gonna cost you every single time. But yeah, I mean, nothing really crazy happened. It was just great racing through and through. Nobody was throwing aggressive blocks. It could have been Joe Logano wasn't in the mix, but no one was throwing anything insane. Nobody was racing like they had to win from 30th, with 20 laps to go. None of that happened. It was a clean race. I don't even think there was a caution in the seconds. There was one. There was one caution. There was Daniel Hemrick's car just shut off on him on pit road, and they had to get it out of there. So they threw a caution for that final restart. Eric Jones and Ryan Blaney started on the front row. Blaney won the drive off. Jones let back, finished like 6th. While Blaney led with Michael McDowell pushing him until Chase Elliott popped into the picture. And it kind of came down to the last lap. 2 laps ago, Elliott makes a great move, gets in the right lane, and is just coming down on Blaney. And at the end of the day, he beats Blaney by about half a car length. It was a great move on his part. It's a damn shame as a Blaney fan. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get the first win. It's crazy. And it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, Blaney had a great points finish. And I think he's pretty much locked into the round of 8 right now. I think he's got to win in the round of 8 if he wants to make the championship race. At this point, does consistency get you there? Then again, some of the guys who are still left are people you wouldn't imagine still in this. But while we're at it, let's go ahead and talk about the points. So obviously, Chase Elliott is the only guy locked in as he won the race, obviously. Ryan Bling is plus 32, so pretty good spot. He's probably making the round of 8. I imagine he only really has to get some stage points or something, and he'll probably be fine. Ross Chastain is plus 28. Again, good spot. Road courses up ahead. They're both good at road courses. I'm not worried about them as much as other people would be in this situation. And then Denny Hamlin is plus 21. Again, I actually kind of worry about Hamlin now that I think about it. Coming up to a road course with how bad Toyota has been at road courses, can Hamlin finish well enough? I mean, 21 points, it's a lot to fail. But with the guys sitting around the cut line being solid road course racers, I would be a little concerned, I mean, there's a lot of good road coursers in the playoffs right now. And you're kind of just, you've been mediocre this year, even though you are a great road courser yourself. Is it going to be enough? 21, I think he's fine, but it's concerning, to be completely honest. Plus 18 for Kyle Larson and Joey Logano. Logano was non-existent in this race. It's clear he went from like plus 30 to plus 18. Just not a factor. I mean, you could say the wreck had affected him, but I don't think it really did. I think it's just he couldn't make his way through the field and just was never there. Kyle Larson's probably static coming out of Talladega plus 18. Getting there to a road course where he's won at, he's not going to be a problem. He's making it through. I don't Once he gets wrecked in the first couple laps, he's definitely 110% advancing on. Next, we have Daniel Suarez plus 12. I think Suarez is pretty comfortable too. He's a great road course racer, including his only win and first win of his career this year being at Sonoma. I think not much has to be worried about Daniel Suarez in continuing his playoff runs. But this is where we get a little bit spicy. Tied for 8th place is Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric. Both guys are pretty solid at road courses. I think Cindric's got a better chance of making it through out of those two, unless somebody underneath them win, or we'll get into the next guy and points makes any difference into this. I don't see Briscoe surviving this round. It would take a miracle. He shouldn't be here. He's been pretty mediocre. He's had a solid second round, but I don't know how he survived the first round. It was pure luck. I hate these pop-ups on my computer while I'm looking at I clicked it. Anyway, and then the only other guy we have not talked about his point standings is William Byron. He is negative 11. Now, granted, to be fair, he is also appealing the 25-point penalty. We'll see if that changes anything later in the week. I don't think it will. If it does, I think both Cindric and Briscoe are in trouble. As Byron, I think, can very easily win this race. He's been up there before. I don't see an issue with him. And then obviously, Bell plus minus 33 and Bowman, if he ever races, is way out of it too. If I had to say who I think getting cut here, I think it's going to be Bowman, Bell, Briscoe, and probably Cindric. I think Byron can make up 11 points on them if he even has to. But I don't know. I'm not sold on Cindric. I mean, it's amazing he's made it this far. If he gets around 8, that'd be huge for him. But I just don't see it. But that's about it. I mean, it was a really solid race. Different for Talladega. You don't see this that often, especially in the playoffs. I mean, the truck race was a bit of a mess. The Xfinity race was pretty clean in itself. So maybe this is a new age of racing. I think Talladega gives it a little bit easier than Daytona 2 to have this type. And I think Atlanta would be as well. But thank you for watching. See you next time.